Welcome to Elevate eCommerce, the podcast where we elevate your e-commerce game. Join our host, Hi Mag, CEO of Eva, as he shares the latest strategies in Amazon, Omnichannel, and advertising. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting, Hi's insights and expert interviews will help you thrive in the e-commerce world. Tune in for practical tips and transformative success stories to elevate your business to new heights.
Hey, welcome to Elevate eCommerce, your podcast to Amazon advertising, omnichannel, and how to have profit-driven decisions on Amazon. Today, it's a distinct pleasure for me to introduce Aaron Moore. He's a great one-man show, and he'll explain that to us, what he is doing. And thank you, Aaron, for coming to our podcast. Welcome.
Hey, hello, hi. Thank you for having my entire agency on your podcast. I am an agency of one. I manage about 10 Amazon accounts all by myself, no outsourcing, none of that stuff. I do all the clicks, so I know how to do it, and I know what's going on all the time.
Yeah, that's super exciting, and I really like your business model. Maybe first you tell us a little bit more, like why you keep it as a kind of a single person show. A lot of people start like you, but then they ended up hiring virtual assistants and other people and expand. Why you're still one person?
Right. Well, I had a company and I grew it from $1 million a year to $15-20 million a year really fast. And I had a ton of employees and I sold that company. Along with that company was my, I couldn't touch the technology anymore. It was a non-compete. And so the second best thing I knew was selling on Amazon. And I was very exhausted with employees and managing employees and having all that stuff. My next goal was work on Amazon, do Amazon, but how can I do it the most efficient way possible so I just don't need an employee? And then I was even thinking, I would go through the stages of growing and growing pains. And then I'm like, well, if I had an employee, they could do this and this, but then I have to keep going back to that employee or some system to knowing what's the status of it, where's it at, what's going on with it. And I wouldn't be able to sleep at night till I knew that answer. And basically I just kept on going back to the same circle, just keep it myself, keep it better, keep it more efficient, keep it simpler, and focus everything around that, including, I don't work with too many brands. I don't work with too many SKUs. I don't work with too big of a management structure. So everything kind of has to Goldilocks into my system to work with it. And it's still not easy. There's still a lot of stuff to do. I love Mondays because I get more stuff done on Mondays. But it's something that grew and has kept on growing. And now it's kind of a challenge to see how big I could get with the one-man show.
Exactly. But I kind of understand that, kind of situation with a lot of employees, and you have more than a decade of experience with Amazon, and now Eva is like 400 people. So I guess my situation is even let's say 1% is not happy, it's already 4 people. Maybe hate you. So it's not that easy to manage people. Right. By the way, with decade plus experience of Aaron, he will also tell us about an e-commerce hack, but it will be at the end of the podcast. So we're gonna just start with the main question to open up the conversation, which is, what is your advertising strategy, Aaron?
Okay, yeah. So the strategy I'd like to use that's not really well talked about is I'll kind of give each kind of I'll go with each types of campaign. So the auto campaign, it's talked about a little bit, but not enough. Auto all campaigns. So you take everything in your catalog and dump every ace into one campaign and have it 35 cents or lower bids, everything in there, and don't touch it. The second one is same idea. One auto campaign, another auto campaign, every ace in your catalog, dump them all in there, 5 cent fixed bids. Have those two bids or those two campaigns running all the time. Don't touch them. Don't do anything with them. Just watch them. You could keyword harvest if you want to, but you'll be surprised at what the sales will do and what it'll do for your ROAS and everything else. You just have those two running in your auto campaign.
Wow, that's really amazing. By the way, the first one, I think we discussed about that in the past, and we incorporated into our AI. Like it's kind of doing it automatically.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with you. And the second one is also great for any brand to leverage that. And I mean, thank you for that strategy. One of the things with Amazon advertising world, or in general with advertising, is every second week there is a new thing coming, a new feature, new way to do things. What is that maybe innovative advertising technique that you started like to use in the last couple of weeks, if there is any?
Nothing new that nothing new that's been released. I get very nervous on new stuff that's released on Amazon. I'll do a test campaign or whatever, but man, if it's new and it's from Amazon, it's probably going to cost me a lot of money to learn something. What is kind of semi new, or again, it's on LinkedIn and all that stuff, it's just not talked enough of, is the search query performance report.
Right.
That's a gold mine. That's an absolute gold mine if you use it correctly. You got top of the funnel, mid funnel, purchasing funnel. You have so you have a harvester of words right there that are proven actual words that you should use. You should use in several different campaigns and several different types, and maximize that effect. A couple other things I kind of use just the classic stuff, but shopping cart, the add to shopping cart system. So it'll go in there and under brands, it'll show you what people are buying and in the shopping cart when they buy your product. Well, right. So that's another gold mine of things that you could advertise against. If somebody's looking at your product and something else, go in and there's 10 of those, go in and advertise against those, because that's an aggregate amount of what people are looking for, or the interest level of yours, the demographics of people, the ages, income, stuff like that, similar products that are into. In the brand section, there is a whole list and identity of a customer. You think you know your customer pretty well, but do you know the customer that Amazon sees? And so using all the information that Amazon has to dial into that customer exactly, because you can on the back end now. You get really, really granular, especially with a lot of their new features to do that. And so when I do experiment, I use that to kind of keep on dialing it in, or tweaking the dials a little bit.
Absolutely. By the way, just because we are trying to implement all that stuff with our tech, one of the problems is that Amazon still didn't release the API for both things that you have mentioned, the CTR, as well as the market basket analysis on the brand analytics. What we do is basically we use a bit of a kind of a simulation technique to download this data. So it kind of still adds a manual step, but I mean, it's so powerful. Without that information, I mean, if we are running like an AI-based system, that will be like 50% less effective if we are not leveraging the SQPR. And that eliminates the need for any third-party tool for almost keyword search. That's one of the things that we discovered. Like you don't need third parties. Like you just use the SQPR, much better, relevant, accurate information. So, I mean, that's kind of all about advertising. But one of the things that I think you and I agree, the performance of advertising doesn't just depend on advertising. So what do you think, what affects advertising that is not advertising itself?
First one, very simple, straightforward. The main image. The main image is your resume, your quick snap resume. So the main image, big, huge trend now is dead pixel space. I didn't come up with that term. John Aspinall did. But I did not. So it's just using, you have your product and then using other information or something around it to give to give it a better visual. It could be like if it's a 50 pack, put 50 pack and make it look like it's part of the packaging. Use the box behind it and add some more information. If it's a flavor of pineapple, put a pineapple in there, something like that. So that's a huge one. The main image on there. And then I would say the second one, because it's probably the most watched, most visual, is your video. Is a video about your product. It's going to reduce returns and increase sales. And people watch it. You have analytics on the back end to see it. And what I would say, like a hack on that video, is you don't want a 3-minute video. You want 10, 30-second videos, because that's how they get watched. And so if you want a good video on there, if we make a good 3-minute video, just chop it up into 10 segments, upload it on there. Now you have increased search performance on it on Amazon, and then you could actually experiment whether you have a thumbnail on it or no thumbnail on it, because UGC content's pretty huge on Amazon currently. And so your thumbnail and then your video is probably your two biggest non-advertisers that all lead to a sale.
Absolutely. I mean, I love that what you mentioned about the resume of the agent is the image, right? And and as you said, like a lot of the sellers, they have this great products without a proper main image, and that is already impacting a lot the CTR and then the CVR, right? And one point increase on CVR is like impacting ACOS by 10%. So it's like a huge thing to improve the CTR and CVR in a way.
Yeah. And just getting that click. So, I mean, sometimes they need a reason to click and keep experimenting on that main image. Not all the time, but enough to keep them go, hey, what is this again?
Absolutely. Well, you have a limited number of customers. It's a boutique agency. So I'm sure that you have some great case studies, great references. So can you tell us a bit of maybe one success story that you have with, profitable growth?
Yes. I love this story because it utilizes everything that Amazon is. I can't talk about the product, or I could say it's an outdoor category, but I love it because it harnesses the complete power of Amazon for a success. And everybody wants to complain about prices, whatever else. Well, no, this is a success story. So the seller wanted to put their product on Amazon. They had a seller account and everything else. There was probably 50 counterfeit listings on Amazon for this product. It was ripped off massively. They had a patent on it, issued, but it's ripped off massively. All Chinese sellers, a bunch of other sellers on there. So I took them on. I explained the whole system to them. We're going to have to do. And so we put it on there, got brand registered, and then I immediately applied for the Apex number through, which is a patent, apply for a patent number through Amazon, and it's basically a patent judgment number. And then I used the patent judgment number to take down all the counterfeits, every single counterfeit on there. And again, they're starting at zero, and we're selling, and total sales was a couple $100,000 a month.
Right.
So first of all, use the patent system, took down all of them. There was a bunch remaining on there. So then I used the trademark system, and then more counterfeits, put them on there. And then I used other brand registry services to merge other ASINs and everything else, and essentially then use the transparency system, which is like a number system you put on everything. So when I cleaned everything up, we put on transparency on everything, put it on there. And essentially we're the only sellers, or the only authorized sellers, or we can authorize other people to sell on there. Now we took back 100% of all the sales and share the sales when we want to with other third party. And now when somebody pops up every now and then, which they do sometimes, they're down in 5 minutes and ready to go. And it completely turned around a company that didn't know what to do on Amazon at all to get, a couple $100,000 a month to a smaller company. That goes a long ways for salaries and everything else. So it's kind of it could have saved a lot of people's jobs, or it probably did, honestly. So all by harnessing the entire Amazon system.
So what was the impact in terms of numbers? Like how much did the growth was?
Oh, it's been from zero, it took us about 12 months to hit a couple $100,000
Right.
And then we're over 7 figures now in sales in a 12 month, and we're up 43% over last year. So it just keeps on going, because now we just restock it and keeps on going, and we're number one in the category, number one in search, number one on everything. It's a patented product. It works great, but we legally removed all the other non-fair players and took back the sales.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing story. So, very important, especially with a patent product, to make sure that you are protecting your brand. So great story. My next question would be about a subject that I really love, being the AI guy for the last 20 years, even before AI was known. And what role does AI play in your business now? I mean, compared to a year back, are you leveraging AI now in any form and shape? Is it really helping? What's your view on that?
I use it in 2 ways right now. Again, I probably don't trust AI as much as you do and lean into as much as you do. I'm trying to. I use it a couple ways. A couple ways I like to. I use ChatGPT. They're kind of like first and foremost. I will write almost all my titles and bullet points and everything else. I write it out, and I'll throw it into ChatGPT just to have them clean it up, just to make it sound smoother. But it writes better than I do. And then once it's all cleaned up and done, and I'll reinsert my keywords that I want to in the writing. So that's one way to do it. Another way is either my own product analysis or competitor product analysis, is using AI. Jungle Scout has a pretty good system for it, but basically, or I'll just download all the reviews. But I'll get all the reviews on the product, and I'll kick it in AI, and I'll give it some questions like how can this product be improved? What needs to be better? Something like, so it's analysis of, because most of the reviews are in the tens of thousands now, of either my represented product or other competitor product. And so I'll use it to find a way to find an edge or a gap in a competitor product. There was a product out there that recently I was reviewing. It made it for several different sizes of binoculars, but it didn't make it for this size binocular. And it came up again and again and again in the reviews. And I'm like, okay. So what did I do? I go in there, and our product fits that size binocular, but it wasn't documented enough, wasn't promoted enough. So it was simple. Go put that in the title, put it in it fits this size binocular, this brand of binocular, because it was gapped. And now actually AI even said, there's not enough. It seems like there's not enough market availability for this product, blah, blah, blah. And so, right. And the other ones are pretty simple. I added, complaints and stuff like that. So those are the 2 main ways I'm using AI to kind of just for analyze competitors in my own product, to either find some edge on the competition or improve my own product before somebody else does, and make my writing sound better. But for the robots on Amazon, always got to put those keywords in there for it.
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, I love AI, and we try to always innovate. I am looking for your feedback once you use like bid optimization, campaign management, dynamic pricing, because now we brought all these things together in a way that the campaigns are created from the keywords, the bids are hourly optimized, the prices daily optimized. I mean, we see some kind of it's a much better way, in a way that we were able to reduce the any type of the way it works right now from my point of view is like we are able to eliminate the need for VAs already by 75%. And that's kind of but the strategic aspect is still there, right? As you mentioned, like you need to check the titles, the bullet points. You need to know which keywords to add where. And same thing applies for even campaigns. Even if we do it, it's only 80%, right? And you still need the PPC focus. The specialists need to come and do something with the competitive plan and many other things. But it really helps a lot, 80% time efficiency. Well, I mean, one of the things, I guess you have the same challenge or same type of an objective with your customers. It's getting day by day I mean, kind of more difficult to make money on Amazon, like
Mhm.
introducing new fees, the CPCs are going up. So what's your strategy in terms of a kind of a profit-driven approach to Amazon management?
Yeah, you're right. There's at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, fees suck, and people just don't like them. People feel squeezed. But if you've ever had a 20,000 square foot warehouse with $5 million of inventory on the shelf and 50 employees under one roof, you know it's still cheaper to do Amazon and a 3PL than it is to have your own warehouse. So that's kind of my thing on that. But how do we save profit margins right now on everything? And this is what I audit kind of daily. Your number one that's there's a fast one, there's a slow one. So the number one, which is slow, because I always recommend that one first because it takes a while to implement, is the size and packaging. Look at the packaging. Optimize your packaging to as small as possible. Can you go down a tier in it? Can you shave 1 inch and go down a tier? That could be a dollar or two savings. Can be smaller, lighter, better. A belt, lengthwise, 36-inch belt is a different category than a belt curled up into a circle. A lot of people love their brand and love their logo and everything else, but fall in love too much with the packaging. So the packaging can be shrunk on the next, coming runs or whatever else, and you could save a ton of money right there. That's just efficiency in the packaging, but how to run it effectively as accounts. Obviously, advertising is one of them. I focus on a 4 to 7 ROAS minimum on all my campaigns. Minimum 4. Why 4? Because I want everybody profitable. We all need to be profitable. And then those are just campaign levels. But then I go ASIN levels. ASIN levels needs to be 4 to 7 ROAS minimum. Usually I do better, but I need it at least 4. Okay. So that helps profitability there. Then it goes to inventory. You will spend money on inventory. Yes. But when the fee clicks over 180 days, you spend even more money on inventory. So you need a balance of inventory around that 90 days worth on your shelf of inventory, but you need a balance and you need to watch it and you need to send it in on time, but you also need to take it out if it's you have too much in there. And you need to do that weekly. You need to do all the stuff we just talked about weekly. If not, and that's where a lot of people get caught. They don't want to sit and look at optimization rates of your inventory and your size and aging and all that other stuff because it's hard. It's a pain in the butt. But I have software for that to look at that, break down a P&L month over month and look at their expenses and stuff. But sending inventory into Amazon, there's a placement fee now, the 45-cent placement fee or whatever. But still, sending in inventory into Amazon is still cheaper than even with your own UPS account and millions of dollars a year, you're still paying 50 to 75 cents a pound. With Amazon, you're paying 15 to 25 cents a pound when you send it in. So there's always costs. You always have to pay for shipping in, you have to pay for storage space. Outside of that, you could optimize how long it's at Amazon and how small your packaging is and how profitable your advertising is. And you have to keep doing those all the time to maintain those margins.
Exactly. I mean, we operate like 3PLs in Houston, California, and in Canada. Yeah. And I mean, that's the most difficult part of my business because the margin is low. There's so many risks with employees, warehouse, physical stuff. I mean, being like more on the software side, management, that's kind of not easy. But when you have a problem with 3PL, I mean, that is really impacting almost all your profit. So that's why it's expensive. And Amazon is doing a fantastic job and probably compensating it with other ad revenues and other things. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to make money with the way that Amazon is doing it. So I fully agree with you to leverage that. But having said that, still, do you think that like Amazon should be the only avenue for the brands? Because day by day, we also see, especially starting from January, every brand is looking for omnichannel approach. Walmart is coming, the Chinese, marketplaces are getting bigger and bigger, like Temu and TikTok already are bigger than Walmart now. So that was amazing in a few months. They're kind of skyrocketing revenues, and Amazon is trying to attack them too. So what's your omni-channel strategy for brands?
For a decade, I sold omni-channel, big box stores, other big, large online retailers. Here's my strategy on it, and it's been the same for a decade now. If you could make it on Amazon, you can make it anywhere off of Amazon. But the hard part is making it on Amazon. So if you're on Amazon successfully, and that means multifaceted, you got to stay in stock. It has to sell. You have to be the only seller of it, right? So there's strategies to that. You have to protect your patent, transparency programs, and you have to protect your price and your marketplace. So if you could do all that on Amazon, then the omni-channel, and of course it sells and people like it, the omni-channel is an option now, I believe. Because if you go to a big box seller, the first thing they're going to do with your product is scan your barcode and see what it is sold on Amazon. And if it's not sold for full MSRP, they probably don't want it, because they're not going to compete against the price, because a big box is going to get, say, 30 to 50% off of retail for their pricing. But at the same time, you have to tell that retailer, you need to keep your prices at MSRP, because I don't want to lose a buy box on Amazon. It's like, I control Amazon, so the omni-channel can thrive. So whether that's another large e-commerce platform, or a big box store, or another niche marketplace, if you can control Amazon with your pricing, inventory, branding, all that other fun stuff, then you have the option to control it off of Amazon. You also demonstrate that you have demand for it. You could keep up with the shipping part of it, and customers want it. But if you can't make it on Amazon, then you won't be able to make it on your Shopify store, because not enough people want it. Your big box stores won't want you, because you're obviously not big enough to be on Amazon yet. So you're not on there. And if you're not on, because you can get on Amazon, but if you can't control your price and you can't control your distribution of people reselling it on Amazon, you have another problem. So it all starts with Amazon. Once you can control that, then you can branch it out. How much money you make off of Amazon? Amazon is still going to be your biggest seller, your biggest revenue source. Everything else, once you do make it on there. So it's a way up. What's it worth? What's it worth to you to chase the other rabbits?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we do like a couple of launches every week. Each time the brand owners are asking us, okay, can I just launch it on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Wayfair? And we are like, hold on, because first be successful on Amazon, maybe reach to 50K a month. And then we know that it's selling. There is a hero ASIN. And then we can look into the other marketplaces, because you need to prove yourself. The only exception that I see, when there's like a oversized item, overpriced, underpriced, low price item, there is something that doesn't fit into that FBA in some way. I mean, then it may make sense, obviously, to go D2C, like multiple products, caviar. I mean, we have seen these type of things. But other than the exceptions, I fully agree. The blueprint is sell on Amazon, make it successful, go to maybe Shopify, retail, other marketplaces. It's all good. Thanks a lot for, all the hints and great advices. You have a lot of experience first as an operator, and now as a boutique agency. And now it comes to the end of the podcast. Please share with us your practical e-commerce hack that our listeners can go back and start implementing immediately.
This works for me 100% of the time. Every time I take on a new account that needs more sales, it's one simple thing.
Okay.
More inventory. Send in more inventory to Amazon. I have a system where I constantly keep 90 days on Amazon's shelf or flowing to Amazon's shelf. What it actually equates to is 75 days of physical inventory on Amazon's shelf. And every company that every 100% of the time I get on it, and they have 30 days of inventory of this. They have 120 days of inventory of this. They have 60 days of this. What I do is I just go in and I run the math. Past 30 days times 3 minus what you have on inventory, and I send in that much. Okay. And I consistently do that weekly. I make sure we have master packs. I make sure the system's simple to restock it through their 3PLs, to their warehouse or whatever. But having a consistent, steady, and equal amount of inventory on their shelf, again, 90 days flowing or on Amazon shelf all the time, is my biggest hack to increasing sales. In Amazon, I cannot verify this other than just 44% average year-over-year sales for all my clients, average together, is Amazon. They know you're going to run out of inventory. Why should they increase your sales? Why should they increase your search results? But if you show them, if you want $10,000 worth of sales a month, you better have $30,000 in sale in inventory on their shelf, because guess what? It will happen, and you have to keep pumping it, optimize the other parts of it. But Amazon will never give you the sales you want unless you give them the Amazon you want, or the inventory that they want to see those numbers, and keep maintaining it. Don't go overstock, don't be under, but keep maintaining that, and then you'll grow your size limits, you grow everything, and keep growing. And it's not a quick. It doesn't happen real fast, but if you consistently do it and consistently keep it in, Amazon will reward you, and that's my biggest hack for increases all the time.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Aaron, for the hack and all the great advices. And looking forward to see you again in our podcast.
All right. Hi. Thank you very much. Thanks for having my entire agency on your podcast.
Thank you.